Today, we are talking with Tommy Wildfire Rich here on the School of Morton podcast. I'm Scotty Campbell with WWE Hall of Famer Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express on the School of Morton podcast. If you are enjoying, please share, please subscribe, please tell friends who are wrestling fans as well. And want to take you back just a moment to last week's episode. Vince McMahon Sr., was he very hands-on? I asked the question to the Universal Heartthrob, Austin Idol, and I was shocked by his response. In terms of day-to-day, when you were working with Vince McMahon Sr., was he extremely hands-on, or was he a big delegator?
Well, he wasn't there that much. I mean, he stayed in Florida, down around, I think, Fort Lauderdale. I mean, he'd only come in for the big ones. He'd only come in for New York, for the Garden. You really didn't see him much. So everybody else, was really running the operation, Gorilla Monsoon and Angelo Savoldi and Arnold Skolin.
That is from episode 6, available in the archives at iTunes and at rickymorton.podbean.com. Also there, we talked with the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan. We've talked with J.J. Dillon of the Four Horsemen, and many others. Welcome to the School of Morton podcast. I'm Scotty Campbell with 2017 WWE Hall of Fame inductee of the Rock and Roll Express, the one and only Ricky Morton. Hello, Ricky.
Hello, Scotty. Man, I had a big weekend this weekend. Just come back in from Cleveland, Ohio. You talk about cold weather. Now, that's some cold weather in Cleveland. Had a great time, guys. Really appreciate you having Robert and I up there.
Good stuff. Now, with that trip, I understand you ran into that fella that's been causing some controversy with his anatomy a little bit. People know who I'm talking about.
Right.
And so Ryan flips people around with his tool out of his toolbox or something like that, we'll say.
I never met the kid before, and then I see where he posted. If you guys get a chance, look what he posted. One tackle dropped down, your tool drag.
There you go.
Is that better?
I love it. Family friendly. That's what we do on this show. We're not here to cuss you out.
Oh, no.
No.
Here to have a good time.
That's right.
And talk about our business and things which people really don't know about. Scotty was talking about this earlier. And, here at the School of Morton has some great kids that come along. Some of my talent here is getting so unbelievable that it's hard to even comprehend what all they have accomplished since they've been here. They're going out, man, we're getting a lot of reviews. Our shows, we run shows at the School of Morton, and every one of them starting to fill up,
Yes.
Especially here at the school, man. We had to start running 2 shows a month just here at the school because all the people that are coming in and all the guys that having matches at our school, and which is great. And this is something that I like, and I always keep saying this, man. I've been in this business full-time wrestling. I started when I was a kid, 44 years. And the guys are out there, and please, and understand, it's one thing to say that you're a professional wrestler. It's one thing to say that you're an entertainer. But both of them are the things that you love. But the most thing and the best thing that you got to do is you got to go train. There's a lot of great wrestling schools across the country. Schools across the country. All right. For instance, I have the School of Morton here in Chuckey, Tennessee, and you can find me on School of Morton on Facebook. But if you get a chance, go on APCW, All Pro Championship Wrestling. That's out of Douglasville, Georgia, and that's my wrestling partner, Robert Gibson. He has a school there. He runs a show once a month there at the National Guard Armory, and he does terrific, man. You can't believe some of the crowds he pulls in down there, in that area down there. Go train. It makes you better. Then again, the guy that we're fixing to have on our show here in a little while, Tommy, somebody said about fired up, but Tommy Rich, he's got a wrestling school down in Myrtle Beach. These are guys that understand our business, know what it's about, to know how to teach you how to tell a story, because our business is a lot more, man. A lot more than doing high spots. That's what I call the guy. You're a high spot junkie. But let's learn our business, man. Learn what it's like. And I'm not trying to tell you what to do. And I don't have the answers to everything. And I can't promise you nothing but to teach you how to be a better wrestler. I can promise you that now.
Ricky Morton, we have a lot of comments and questions for you, so here we go.
Whoa.
Via Twitter, and if you have something you want to ask, send it to us. Twitter at Real Ricky Morton and Twitter at Scotty is on, SCOTTY is on. Billy Ocean says, thank you guys for having one of my childhood favorites, Austin Idol, on last week on episode 6 for a couple of hours. I was 7 years old again. Great show. Billy, thank you.
Oh, man, appreciate it very much. Austin Idol was one of the greats, and gosh, I was glad to be able to have him on the show because, you know, Austin's busy and a lot of other things. We caught him at a good time.
We did, and if you want to hear it, it's in the archives on TuneIn at School of Morton where we talked with Austin Idol. He talked about Vince McMahon Sr. and how he actually wasn't at the shows very often for his own company, so I was intrigued by that. He also talked about the plane crash that he was in, and he talked about many other things, including working with Paul Heyman very early in his career. So check it out, episode 6, last week's episode, where we talked with Austin Idol. All right, Ricky Morton, at James Rock Street is Jimmy Street. He says, a few questions, if you guys don't mind, and I love the podcast. So thank you, Jimmy. I distinctly remember as a kid at Great American Bash, Ricky Morton winning the NWA title. Would love to hear about that. So what's the true story?
Jimmy, and you too, Scotty, I know that you have tried to pry this out of me a bunch of times too. And I really want you to know before I answer this question that I'm starting to write my book now. There's a lot of things on there. A lot of things that, you know, when the book comes out, it's going to really surprise a lot of people. In our business at the time, a lot of politics were going on. Robert and I got to say this, with the right place at the right time. But we got over. And we got over big time. And when you get over big like that, dude, that's when the politics come into our business. And I have to say, people get jealous. People always thinking they know more than you do. But you see, I gave my whole life to this business and to understand. And Robert and I were really, really going. People have put themselves in 6-man tags with us, and they try to kill us off. It didn't work. This is what I know. This business is what I know. And, you know, me and Flair were having one hell of a feud. Gosh, man, we were selling out arenas, and I'm talking about cage matches and all kinds, hour time limit matches. And then one night, me and Rick did a finish where I beat him. But it was a finish that went either way. Mm-hmm. But the people knew that I took the world belt back with me, and kind of surprised me, too. When I got the back, they took me in a room. They says, man, congratulations, but in order for you to be the world heavyweight champion, we're going to have to fire your partner, Robert Gibson. And I'm thinking to myself, fire him for what? And he says, well, because, you know, if you being the champion, you're going to have to beat him. Everybody else is going to have to beat him, and blah, 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 blah. So I handed the world belt back to him and told him, I says, no.
Ric Flair put you over.
Yes.
They took you to the back of the arena and sat down with you in the office, and you had the chance to be and to carry the banner and be the NWA World Heavyweight Champion for a nice run. But they told you, we're going to have to fire Robert Gibson.
Yes, and I told them no. I handed the belt back. I don't know if that means anything, but to me it did. Since then, Robert and I, man, we are still wrestling partners since then. And don't get me wrong, it's not like every day. You know, we're like an old married couple anyway, fighting, arguing. But when you're like that when you're on the road. But that was the situation that it was. And boy, right after that, everything just went downhill because they try to more and more try to kill us off. Finally, me and Robert just left. But they never could do it. And when they did do that, that's when NWA, the bottom fell out of it. It ain't because of us. I think a lot of things involved with it, too. But that's when, Jimmy Crockett sold it to Ted Turner, or gave it to him more because he was millions and millions of dollars in the hole.
Another question came in. Did anyone ever ask the Rock and Roll Express to update the look or cut the hair?
Good question, because I thought about that same thing for a long time. But Robert and I, again, have been wrestling partners for 35 years. As rock and roll went through different stages, you can see, you went through your heavy metal, all this stuff right here, and you see as the rock stars came out with their fingernails black, but Robert and I stayed the same because that's what they knew. See, after all these years, that the time that Robert and I were over, that's how they remember us. And nowadays, it ain't the part that we draw. And this is what I bring up a lot of times, too. And this is not only in our business and a lot of other business. You still have old fans, too.
Yes.
And those O fans are the ones on the independent circuit that buys all the tickets. They're the ones that come and see us. So if, you got to remember the All-American babyface guy with the mullet. If I come back with with purple hair and black fingernails and, makeup on my face, which is all right, but it's not us. And another thing, too, my wife, I told her once, I says, what do you think about me getting a haircut? Boy, that was the wrong thing to say. She says, no, the mullet, you're going to keep the mullet forever. And that's where I was going to tell you, guys, it's not the part that we're behind times. I have children. I have 7 of them, but you don't think I lived through different generations and the gothic look and all that stuff. I know what it's about. But this is who Robert and I are, and we never changed. But thank you, but I hope you accept us the way we are. But okay.
At Real Ricky Morton and at Scotty Is On, if you want to send a question. Another one says, Rock and Roll Express, did you ever have an offer to go to the World Wrestling Federation in the 1980s before the Rockers were created?
No, we was in the NWA at the time. Never did. But we were really doing good. But you see, the Rockers were created by them from us in the Midnight Express. The Midnight Rockers. I took it as a compliment. People used to ask me, what do you think about Shawn Michaels? I said, man, that's a compliment to me. He's real good. As a matter of fact, when we met him on the independent circuits, too, before they did go back to WWE and get a big run, God, we tore the houses down. We drew a lot of money with those kids. Sure did. And great classic matches. Yeah, Marty Jannetty, he's a great worker. Shawn Michaels, I guess one of the top in the world. So you can understand what kind of matches we had.
Okay, we know that your favorite babyface, or one of your favorite babyfaces of all time, the legendary Ken Lucas. But the question has been sent to us now. Who is Ricky Morton's favorite villain of all time?
If you look at the TV, man, you've seen some monsters and in real life, but intimidation is something that when I broke into the business, and it really was. And Ole Anderson was one of the kind of guys that didn't like small guys in the business. Mm-hmm. We're never going to draw no money with them. We're never going to draw no money with them. And you got to know Ole. Ole is never, I don't think he even likes ice cream.
Has Ole ever had a good day?
I don't know. That's what I was trying to say. I don't think he likes ice cream or nothing. But as this went on, and boy, he can intimidate the hell out of you. Gosh, man, boom. He's a tough guy. I mean, he's in real life, he's a tough guy. And at that time, Ole was... besides that, he was a different worker. He was a really hardcore wrestling heel, but he'd let you know in a minute that he could whoop your butt if he wanted to. But you never knew what kind of mood Ole was in. Once we did our angle with the Andersons and we sold out everywhere we wanted, Ole loved me after that because he made a lot of money.
That seems to put a twist on things, doesn't it? When there's money involved.
It sure does.
All right. Well, shortly we're going to talk with Tommy Wildfire Rich, who worked very closely with Ole Anderson, but we haven't gotten there yet. First, we have to tell you about some upcoming events, and there are plenty of them, including this weekend, Chicago, Illinois, at the Chicago Marriott Schaumburg, November 17th through 19th, all 3 days. Together again, who can we see here?
Oh, man, the Days of Dead. Myself and Robert Gibson will be there all 3 days, and encourage everybody up there, man, come out. Not only us, but look at everybody else that's going to be there. Go on Facebook and check it out. That's another weekend that I'm going to have to pack my long underwear and everything else, but I love it, man. I love Chicago.
Facebook at the Days of the Dead. Days of the Dead. We'll have that info for you. Now, but there's so much more because you have an action-packed rest of November.
Oh, yes, Thanksgiving Day. I'm going to be over in Rufferton, North Carolina, working for my friend Sharon. Sharon's a promoter over there, and Thanksgiving night, Turkey Day. We'll see what kind of turkey I'm going to wrestle that night. Looking forward to seeing it. Okay.
All right. Now, also that weekend, Friday night, the night after Thanksgiving.
Madison, West Virginia. Be up there for Gary Dameron. Wow, what Gary puts on some great shows. It's always a pleasure to go up and work for Gary, and he has a great card. Matter of fact, I think Billy Gunn is there that night.
New Age Outlaw Billy Gunn.
Yeah, and man, we're looking forward to having a good time there that night.
And that is also WrestleCade weekend, Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
Big event, big event. Have it every year. Today, I mean, I'm talking, and everybody's going to be there. Every wrestler that probably you really can think about will be signing autographs that day. And I know they have a big show that night. But you know what, man? It's like I tell people, never stop dreaming. Never stop dreaming. Even though I'm 61 years old, I'm still dreaming, because 2 o'clock when WrestleCade is over with, I'm going to jump right in my car 30 miles over to the Greensboro Coliseum, the backbone of the Rock and Roll Express, the heart of the Rock and Roll Express. It's where we started that night at Starrcade. I cannot wait. I've got cold chills on me just talking about it.
Saturday, November 25th, Greensboro Coliseum, Greensboro, North Carolina. WWE presents Starrcade. Also, in addition to the Rock and Roll Express, I understand Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's making an appearance that evening.
Oh, yes.
Plus many WWE stars on the card for that event. So we wanted to let you know about that. It is inching ever closer. Also, Rock and Roll Express hitting the road with December 9th in Thompson, Georgia.
Yes, sir. Thompson, Georgia. Robert and I will be there. They have a good wrestling show there.
Viral Pro Wrestling, if you want to look it
right
up.
Outside, right outside Augusta, Georgia. On the 16th, I'm going to be in La Follette, Tennessee. Guys, we get a chance. They have a great wrestling show. They haven't been there in a long time, since the Smoky Mountain era.
Wow, it's been a long time. Southern Pride Championship Wrestling, putting that show on
bud.
December 16th, Ricky Morton.
Now, you tell by my voice, I'm Southern Pride. So, country to bowl of turnip greens.
Me and you both, brother. All right, now, also, this is way ahead, but I'm just going to go ahead and mention it because I heard about it. February 24th, 2018, Waynesboro, Virginia.
The night of the Four Horsemen.
Woo! I got to do that again. That was weak. Can I do it? Woo, 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 woo. I better leave it to the Nature Boy.
Well, you know what?
That was
Marvin
bad.
Ward, I've been working for Marvin Ward a long time. The last show we had there, this is where and people don't understand me. They ask me how the show was, and normally what they mean is how the crowd was. And this is what I come up with one of my old sayings. They were hanging off the rafters, baby. And now this time, man, you need to get your tickets because they're going quick. It's going to be sold out. Matter of fact, 2 of my tag teams, one of them, the Cross Brothers, are going to be in Waynesboro that night, man. They're looking forward to it. They're excited.
It's a big opportunity for those guys. So check it out. AWE, Waynesboro, Virginia, coming up in February, where you can see the Four Horsemen, all of them, together again. Rock and Roll Express and more there as well. Now, got to hit these real quick before we get to our guest. Want to let you know some School of Morton shows coming up, including November 25th, Tennessee National Guard Armory in Rogersville, Tennessee. Also, Christmas Day. Now, that's a wrestling tradition. Christmas Star Wars, Monday, December 25th, 7:30 p.m., Johnson City, Tennessee, at the Johnson City Community Theater.
This is what I love about our business. And years ago, that's when you had all your big shows, is on Christmas night. So, man, out there around this area, Johnson City, Bristol, Elizabethton area, down here in Greenville, man, y'all come on up there to the theater up in Johnson City, because the School of Morton will be there, and I promise you, I'll be wrestling there that night too. And matter of fact, I'll be wrestling Elliot Russell, the one that beat me for the School of Morton title. Be looking forward to coming back and just giving the people up here to show them what a great show the School of Morton is and what we're all about.
School of Morton, Chuckey, Tennessee, with events Sunday, December 3rd and Sunday, December 10th. Full details, Facebook at School of Morton. All right, Ricky Morton, anything you want to add before we take it down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and talk to our
guest? I just want to say thank you to a couple of people. I want to thank you to American Air out of Rock Hill, Chad Adams and Vicki Adams. They support and sponsored Robert and I at a lot of different events. I want to tell them thank you very much. I got my buddy Dean down there. He has a product called Sore No More. And if you get a chance, go on and look it up. Google it, Sore No More. I mean, if you have sore joints and back, this stuff is some great stuff. And you get a hold of Dean, and man, he'll take care of you on that. And then again, I'm going to go back to one of my old buddies, Mike Sampson. He owns Monster Rings. He's the guy we got our wrestling ring from. And if you're out there, if you're interested in wrestling, give Mike a call, man. He'll make you one of the best deals in the world on a wrestling ring that is safe and that is good and dependable. And we want to thank you here at School of Morton, Mike, for taking care of us. We'll be doing some business with you here in the near future.
Now, with cold weather here in many parts of the United States and many parts of the world, too, it's time for some T-shirts. ProWrestlingTees.com. Search for Ricky Morton to see the selection and variety there.
Yeah, they got some great School of Morton shirts on there, too. They have great shirts of Robert and I. And And you know what? I just seen a great T-shirt. Well, I have one. They might be coming out pretty soon too. The ones of Scotty Campbell and Ricky Morton.
Whoa! Hey,
cool.
We should. We have a couple.
Yes, we do.
Podcast T-shirts already, so we may get them in the store. We'll just have to see about that.
Oh yeah.
Our guest at this time, the one and only, and I promise you, there is only one. Wildfire, Tommy Rich. Hello, Tommy.
Somebody say something about, hey, Ricky, Scotty, man, it's a pleasure to be on here. It's great to hear from you. Hey, you talk about another great one, the Rock and Roll Express. Traveled the road many times with them. Great folk, great wrestlers.
Well, Tommy, go ahead since we're on here and go ahead and plug your place you got down in Myrtle Beach and tell all the fans about it. And, you know, I was just talking earlier. I'm out here, I'm on a lot of independent shows, and I was telling these kids and everything, gosh, man, you got to learn, you got to train, you got to understand and love our business. But go ahead and tell the folks about your place you have down in Myrtle Beach.
Well, you know, I started out watching Ricky Morton as a kid, watching him wrestle.
Whoa!
So anyway, I've just always tried to follow in Big Brother's footsteps, man. And I've seen him have a wrestling school, and I knew it was a lost art. And I've seen how good he was doing. And shoot, I just followed suit. But I ended up in a good place. No, I still love the business just like Ricky Morton does, and that's why we want to see. I mean, wrestling's becoming a lost art, and it's just the nature of the business too. I mean, we used to travel the roads together 6 days a week. I mean, it's like a brotherhood. You know, we pile 4 or 5 up in the car. You know. Well, nobody does that no more.
You know, Tommy, I was telling people today they don't even realize that. You know, we all grew up together. Me, you, Bobby Eaton, Robert, Michael Hayes, Terry Gordy. We all started around that Tennessee territory coming up. And in the Georgia Championship wrestling days, Tommy Wildfire Rich, he was the Hulk Hogan. He was the John Cena. Buddy, I mean, he was the Roman Reigns of the day. Tommy, I was a great fan of Tommy Rich, and if you notice, and I'm not trying to be bashful, look at me, I had the blonde hair, I wore the flashy jackets like Tommy Rich did. You know, I wanted to be Tommy Rich because at that time, that's what all the independent territories worked for, is to go to work for Jim Barnett, Atlanta, Georgia. And boy, Tommy had that spot there, and out of that spot he came the world heavyweight champion. I'm telling you, you can go anywhere in the country, walk at any store. I don't care if you're in Polk and Plum, Arkansas. They knew exactly when Tommy Rich walked through that door.
Hey, keep going, Ricky. Keep going, man. Hey, hold on a minute. Hulk Hogan just rang the doorbell. Wait a minute.
Yeah, okay. That's it.
Oh, mercy. All right, so during that time, you were working a lot with the one and only Harley Race. How do you feel about him as a technician, as a performer?
Harley Race, you know, it's hard to describe because Harley Race had a lot to do with me winning the world heavyweight title. He was a great man out of the ring and a great man, a great general in the ring. I mean, Ricky's worked with him. I mean, there's a lot of world heavyweight champions, but to me, Harley Race was, because his persona, he had the whole package. To me, he'd go out there, he'd wrestle with Andre, have one match, he'd wrestle me, have another. You know, he was good.
Yeah, I worked with him, and I wrestled him in the ring, and he told me, "What's your finish, son?" I said, "Crossbody off the top," and I gave it to him. He kicked out on one. Hey, Harley, you know, and we're gonna say this, Scotty, since you're on here, and Tommy knows too. You know, Harley was a great world heavyweight champion and everything, but knowing Harley out of the ring, dude, you have been going down interstate, back then you can drink a little beer, and you go down the interstate about 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden a car hits you in the back end with no tail lights and pushes you 120 miles an hour down the interstate. That's Harley Race.
Yeah, he thought that was just the funniest thing in the world.
Look here, you get we stop, get out of the car, our hair, we stick it straight up in the air, white as a ghost. But Harley, you know, one of the best things I ever remember, do you remember in Tampa, Florida, they had the bar called the Hall of Fame, a bar. I don't know if you do. You remember that? I remember that I was in there one night, and Harley raced at the bar. And back then, you could smoke in bars, and Harley smoked. And him and Ric Flair was sitting at the bar, and they were drinking. And this guy had to be 6'9", walks up beside him. He's the defensive end for the Tampa Bay Bucks. And he was messing with Harley, and he goes, I'm thinking about getting into wrestling. And Harley still got the cigarette in his mouth. He turned around, and Harley had that strength in his arms. He said, well, put your hands right here. And he put his hand on Harley's hand, and boom, that guy went straight down to his knees. And Harley turned around and was talking to Flair, still with the cigarette in his mouth. Then he turned back around and goes, oh, I'm sorry, son. You okay? And I'm sitting there and look here. That guy got up and says, excuse me, sir, I'm sorry I bothered you. He said, I think I bit off more than I can chew. He turned around. That's cool. I mean, Harley was tough, buddy. And I know, Tommy, there during that era there, Ole Anderson had a lot to do with you, too, didn't he?
Yeah, Ole, yeah. I mean, Ole was... Me and that Ole, we had that love-hate relationship.
Hey, I was just telling Scotty that, too, earlier. Ole don't even like ice cream. He's
yeah. No, I mean, and once you got to know Ole, once you got to know him, that was cool. But if you didn't know him, like I didn't know him when I first got to Georgia, and I don't think he liked me a whole lot when I first got to Georgia. Mr. Barnett did. Mr. Barnett, yeah. He liked me and didn't want me to go nowhere, and then Ole had to like me, and I started drawing a little money, and then I think Ole started realizing it too. I mean, I had a good relationship with Ole.
When I was telling him, when Ole first come in there, we done did our thing with the Russians, now we're going to do our angle with the Four Horsemen. God, he didn't want to work with us. They're too little. I can't draw no money with him. Blah, 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 blah. We shot an angle and sold out, look at it, and he loved me. He would even take a bump off the top rope for me. I'd slam off the top, and I never seen him do that before. But it's like we were saying, money changes everything.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
No matter how big or small you are, you show them some greenbacks, they own your bandwagon.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. All right, I want to turn back the clock here. I'd like to know your very beginning in the business, but even before that, am I right in understanding, Tommy Rich, that you worked for Jerry Jarrett before you ever touched a wrestling ring?
Yes, I worked on his farm. He had a horse farm, and I worked, like he used to come watch me play football, JJ did. And anyway, one summer he hired me to work on his horse farm.
Okay. Now, did you grow up there in Hendersonville, Tennessee?
Yes, I grew up in Hendersonville, but I didn't grow up on that side of the tracks where all them country music singers live. I lived on there.
And so, how did you get into the actual wrestling business? Was it through Jerry Jarrett or another channel, Tom?
Yeah, no, it was through Jerry Jarrett. Eddie Marlin, I used to go with Eddie, who's a friend of my father's, and I used to go to matches with Eddie and Tommy Gilbert. I'd make trips with them. And I grew up around wrestling. And like I said, Jarrett, he could come to the games and stuff. And he took an interest in me. And anyway, I had a partial scholarship to Louisville, Kentucky that Jerry Jarrett had me hooked up with. And my mom and dad got split. Anyway, long story short, I didn't go to college and got the opportunity. So I worked for Jarrett one summer, and they told me the water pipe had busted between the well and it was about 1,800 foot, something like that. Anyway, they told me to dig it up. I was a young kid. I didn't think it was hot, and that ground was hard. I had a pick out there picking up, and the deeper and harder I dug it, the madder I got. I thought, what am I doing? Finally, I got about 8 foot of it up, and I started grabbing it and yanking it out of the ground, and he seen me doing that, and that impressed him. It was a lot easier. It was a lot easier yanking it out of the ground than it was using that pick, though. But then I got to think, I said, he just made me do that for nothing, because they had a ditch, which all they had to do was dig another hole right beside. He just wanted me to earn my money that day.
Earning your keep. Well, you had some very bloody feuds over the years, and I wanted to focus a little bit on Mad Dog Buzz Sawyer. We had this message come in from via Twitter. Michael Ross says that the last Battle of Atlanta was one of the greatest moments of all time from his perspective. So I wanted to get your memories on the build-up to that, and I understand WWE actually did a big write-up about that recently, because they're saying that is part of what motivated them to have and use and create WWE Hell in a Cell, Tommy.
Shit, Ted Turner, he was cool before cable was cool, and I was cool for the cage and the Hell in the Cell cage. Back then, I mean, we would just, and if you seen that cage, it was raggedy looking, but it was a first, and that's the thing, man. I hid under the ring with Jerry Lawler for 6-8 hours, I mean, I got a couple of landmarks in this business.
Definitely. Now, that day was a very big day, big crowd, big house, last man standing cage match. Now, for years people said there wasn't a video, but there is now, right?
I had it the whole time. I just didn't want nobody to see it.
Oh.
Hey, he was, he was holding back for that big money.
I'm the one that released that thing. Don't tell nobody, though.
Well, interesting. All right.
Hey, I want to see it, Tommy.
Hey, you want to see it? I'll send you a copy. You want it on that 8mm I got it on?
Yeah.
Now, during that,
in my house, I still got one of those VHSs that is as big as a stove. You know, it takes 4 people to carry it, put it in the living room.
when you were wrestling Buzz Sawyer for the NWA Georgia National title, and having spent so many hours there, so much time, then later on, after that big night, I know that you went on to have a feud with the Road Warriors. In terms of those guys at that point in time, how were Hawk and Animal?
I was there the first day they come into Atlanta, and they was brutal. And for about a year after that, they was pretty brutal because that's just the way they rap. So, but they was, you know, they were just, they were bouncers from a bar that Odie found and brought down to Georgia. I don't even know if they didn't train before they got in the ring. They just got in there and beat people up, you know. And they was big enough to do it. So, but they ended up being some of the best workers in the business. But when they first started, you had to fight. You didn't want to punch you from behind or nothing. You wanted to see what was coming.
Yeah, you know what, Tommy, and he just asked you a question, and I get this a lot of times, too, when somebody asks me about a match, and you stop to think about it. Between us both, and you know all the years that we have worked, we probably have had 10,000 matches each. And it's hard to remember all of them, all the matches, though. But I'm going to tell you, at that time, you know, I was getting a real push in Louisiana. Bill Watts, Robert, and I were, and they're bringing the Road Warriors in. We're in the Superdome, the big show. And, man, all I heard is how tough they are, how they beat you up. And we're an 8-man tag team that night. It was the Dirty White Boys, and then Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, the Road Warriors, and Robert and I, and this is in Superdome, man. They had 40,000 people there that night. And you got to understand, in 1984, that was unheard of and unbelievable. And I'm sitting in a dressing room, but, dude, Robert and I are the top babyface tag team. These guys are coming in. We got to stand our ground. Yeah. It's getting beat up or whatever. And boy, and all I heard was these stories. And in those days, we couldn't, you know, you didn't dress in the same dressing rooms. You couldn't go talk to them. You didn't go over a match. You know, you went to the ring. I guess Bill Watts must have paid them real good because we got in the ring, and Michael, I never forget, Terry Gordy and Joe, which is Animal, started it off. And my goodness, they were hitting each other so hard, pow, and I guess they're coming from Japan or something. And I'm looking at Robert, and I went, oh, my God. And all of a sudden, Terry Gordy tags me.
Your turn, big boy.
And I went, oh, my God, boy. And I come in that ring, I went, oh, and all of a sudden, at that time, these guys were huge. And, they ain't selling nothing for each other. None of them are selling nothing. All of a sudden, he grabs me, he goes, duck the clothesline, hit me with a drop kick, and hit Hawk when he comes in. So boom, he shot me out with it. I hit him with the drop kick. He went over the top rope. Mike fed in, hit him with the drop kick, and he went over the top rope. The roof come off the building, and I'm standing in the middle of the ring, my finger up my butt, because I thought I didn't expect this. You know what I'm saying? Boy, they got us, and they put Robert and I right over with double drop kick that night. That's what I was saying. They learned how to work, and Bill Watts must have paid them a lot of money. You hear me?
They put you guys over in a big way at that point. They really did.
Oh, yeah. Well, they come in. That was our territory. They was known. But, see, they were off that national TV, too, man. And you see him on there on Saturdays just beating everybody up. Hit the ring, no. But it was cool, man. And my boy Tommy here. Scotty, I don't know if you know this or not. Robert Gibson, my partner, we called him Hoot.
Yes.
Let's see my nickname in the business. Go ahead and tell them, Tommy.
Punky.
Yeah.
Punky Morton.
Punky Morton. And that's, everybody calls me Punky. That's everybody. But I wonder who the guy that was that gave me that nickname.
Well, I've wondered, because was that about Punky Brewster, by the way? I've read that. Is that true or not true?
Tommy Rich.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yes.
Well, I need to hear the backstory.
That's when I first, I'd come back from Georgia to Atlanta, I think, and from Georgia to Tennessee, and I'd turn heel, and they said, Jerry Jett said, who do you want to wrestle? And Ricky had just started. we're just starting there. And so anyway, I said,
I was just coming into Memphis.
And I knew that everybody liked to work with me because I was young, fresh meat as a baby face. And I was still pretty good looking at that time anyway. So I thought, well, I'll get Ricky. Anyway, so I started calling him Punky Morton. But, yeah, we had a good little run, too. But, that was the first thing.
Yeah, he was on TV that morning. It's Ricky Morton, you punk. You Punky Morton. I would do that, and it stuck with me.
Stuck like glue all these years.
Oh, it sure did. I appreciate it. I love that name.
Hey, but and also, too, while I was sitting here, because Ricky's the same way I am, man. Love and everything for all the fans out there, because without any of them, wouldn't none of this be possible. Would never ever been possible for none of us. And big shout out to all the wrestling fans across the country. Hey, if you kids out there want to be a wrestler, if you up in the Bristol area, my man Ricky Morton, he's got a heck of a wrestling school. You down in the Myrtle Beach area, we got a heck of a wrestling school here. So either way, if you want to learn old school, you want to hear some stories, you want to learn respect. I mean, we teach it all. It ain't just about getting in there and wrestling. You got to have rhyme and reason. And
Tommy, what can they find you on Facebook? People down there, because I know you run shows there once a month too, and I know a lot of
and a big shout out to my good friend Ricky Morton. Going on a cruise and stopped by. We did a Halloween show October 28th, and he was leaving the next day to go on a cruise and stopped and just made a guest appearance at the show and wrestled. And, there ain't many guys like that around. I mean, so big shout out to Ricky Punky for that, too. And there again, just, the love for the fans, and that's what it's all about. And getting on here and getting to talk about it. And there again, big shout out to the fans. Big shout out to Harley Race. I know his health ain't the best in the world, but big shout out to him and his family. And, just everybody out there, man. We've all been blessed. And to be here in Myrtle Beach, to have opportunity. We're doing a hunger drive. We didn't get to do the Halloween show, but we're still having the hunger drive. We had a big turnout for people bringing food. Then we're doing a Toys for Tot in December the 16th. So there's a lot of things going on in Myrtle Beach, and I just want to thank Ricky. Scotty, I want to thank you too for having me on the show, but most of all, I want to thank Ricky, just for still loving the game like I do.
This is all I know, Tommy, and this is old saying. You'll like this too. I was telling somebody the other day, it says, if you love what you do, you'd never work a day in your life. Well, that's a bunch of bull crap. But but I do love our business. God, Robert and I have been on the road a lot together, and we did a lot of things, and it is hard to make the people even understand what we really all about. I watch wrestling these days, and it's like the other night I was at a show, and the first 3 matches, they all were the same. I mean, the guys dressed alike. They did all the same spots and everything, and the only way they could get a pop, and I know we're going into the business of some things that might not even be particular this show is, and I'm watching, the only way they could get a pop was to chop somebody so hard that their chest was purple and blue, and only get that one little woo when it happens. And here we go out there, and I work a spot, and we work it into it, and it does a hip toss, and the roof comes off the building. And it's because the people don't understand.
Yeah, it's like I said. They pad it. They go out there and do all that bouncing, and then that's not working. And instead of just going back to what the marquee says, wrestling and grabbing a hold.
Oh, yeah, and working out of it. It sure is. Scotty got another question he wants to ask you there, Tommy.
Last week on episode 6, we talked with Austin Idol. He was here with us talking about his feud with Jerry Lawler that included that hair versus hair match at the Mid-South Coliseum. Paul Heyman, Paulie Dangerously, was managing Austin Idol during that match. You hid under the ring for a really long time. Then you came up during the cage match, causing Jerry Lawler to lose the match and ultimately his hair. And that helped turn you heel, as I understand it. But I was also wanting to know, in addition to the significance of that night, Tommy, Paul Heyman, how was he? What did you think of him when you first saw him back in those days?
He was a smart aleck. Now, he was a young smart aleck. Now I guess he's just a mature old smart aleck now. I don't know. I ain't seen him in a while since HCW days. But yeah, back then though, he was just a kid, and his dad was an attorney, and So for some reason he come there and he got with us, but it was a pretty good box because he had that Yankee accent. So the deal got over.
It definitely got over, and then later on, I know that Bill Dundee joined the feud on Jerry Lawler's side, and it really climaxed, I guess, with that tag team scaffold match that saw Lawler and Dundee become victorious, and you and Austin Idol, Paulie Dangerously, all a part of this mix. I understand somebody had their arm broken. I guess that's legit at that point, that they fell off the scaffold trying to escape.
Yeah, I think it was Paulie Dangerously. Yeah, it really got broken. I told him the only way I'd fall off the top of that thing is if they gave me a parachute.
I know. People, Tommy, over the years, Robert and I have been to several scaffold matches.
So y'all can stand up. I never stood up. I scared to death.
Well, I know. That's
I can't even clean my gutters at home. And that scaffold delivers, and you can see the people in the top of the building just looking eyeball to eyeball.
Yeah, I know it, but that's what I was fixing to say. People said, man, what'd you think of them scaffold matches? I said, I don't know. I was too busy holding on. I did. And Robert wasn't scared of heights. He'd jump and shake it on purpose. You could hear me cuss all the way across that building up there.
I bet Robert Gibson was standing up there saying, "What's wrong, Punky? What's wrong?" All right, now, Tommy Rich, I wanted to get your thoughts on another one that I absolutely loved, and I don't know if every fan in the world thought the same way as I did, but that would be when you were in the AWA and you wrestled against Adrian Adonis, and then he went on and had his feud in the WWF against Rowdy Roddy Piper and culminated at WrestleMania. Thoughts on Adrian Adonis that I thought was one of the best I ever saw?
Yeah, he was wild in the book.
See, now I get the inside story.
He was, See, and that's the difference. You hit the nail on the head. Like Ricky said, his first three matches dressed the same. They wrestled the same. It was the same thing. See, the difference is everybody wants to be like everybody. Back then, everybody was character. I mean, Adrian Adonis, he was in Georgia. He was in Georgia and did some kind of cake. It was about 500, 400 pounds or whatever. And could move like a dadgum lark or something. I mean, he was a great. I mean, it could be. He was crazy as a dadgum. But yeah, he was good people. I mean, I liked him. I got involved with him, and what a good worker.
He was down in San Antonio, Texas, and he was. I got to say, for Adrian, he was different. You never knew where he was coming from, and you never had, like Tommy was saying, you never had to worry about him having a sane match. Because, buddy, it's going on what kind of mood he was in or what he was on. It didn't matter. He was having a heck of a time.
Simply unpredictable. Now, I liked his promos a lot myself, watching his promos.
You talking about in WWE?
Well,
I did too. I mean, I loved sound you, Adrian, when he did the biker. Did he do the biker gimmick in Atlanta, Tommy?
Yeah.
Yes, he did the same thing in San Antonio when he was coming through there. But then he went on and really changed his gimmick. But that was cool, though, man. It fitted Adrian perfect, and
great memories.
Him. And for those times, it was different. I remember Adrian Street. People used to say stuff about Adrian Street. I said, well, go over and grab him. He's a sissy. You hear me, Tommy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so go over and grab Adrian Street. He's a sissy. He'll beat your butt.
Yeah. Well, this bad man you ever seen. And Miss Nancy beat me too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You talking about his wife? His wife was tougher than he was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to look back at that arm wrestling challenge, ESPN's AWA, when they had it on ESPN, the wrestling challenge, and sensational Sherry Martel, and you tore off her dress and you left her sitting in her underwear.
I was trying to get them too.
Well, I tell you what, I loved Sherry. I got to know her. Man, what a woman she was.
Yeah, she's very. I mean, I didn't know. I just always seen her in passing, wasn't never around her a whole lot, but always a very nice lady to me.
I knew Sherry real good, Tommy, and as a friend. I always liked her. And, in our business and anybody else, and I tell my kids this too, I said, you treat people the way they treat you. Say nice to you, right. Be nice back. If they're a butthole, treat them back like a butthole. And then that's just the way it is. Tommy, you got any good students down at your school now? They coming along?
Yeah, we got 2 kids. They doing real good right now. And I got one little kid that signed up with us. He's 11. He does private classes. We do private classes for kids, under 18 that want to come and work out. We do private classes with them. We got 2 new boys that signed up, and so everything's going good. Like I said, our big deal's coming up December the 16th. Our Toys for Tots show. I want everybody to come out. There again, the wrestling school, Tommy Wildfire Rich School of Wrestling. You can contact me at 843-691-9205. And there again, if you're in the Myrtle Beach area, but like I said, Ricky Moore, the School of Wrestling, that's where the idea comes from. I used to carry his bag for him when he rapped. That's how far we did.
You ain't gonna get. I had Kevin Sullivan on here the other day, and he was telling him that I used to sell his pictures and steal his money. But he said I owed him $600, but the interest off of it's about $6,000. So and his Tommy, I got kids here at my school too. You need to load some of your boys up someday and bring them up here, or vice versa. Man, we run shows. I have a show here at my school in Morton twice a month. We're doing real good now. We work outside shows all over the place. My boys are coming along good, so I love for you to come up here, Tommy, and do a seminar with my kids. I got to tell you, and I told you this earlier. My time, our days, Tommy Rich was the man, buddy. I'm telling you, he was the movie star, bro.
All day long and all night long too, from what I heard. But I'm not saying anything about that. I got you. Tommy Rich, I want to ask you, my brother, about Abdullah the Butcher. How important was he in your career, especially early on?
Well, I didn't really like Abdullah the Butcher or Ole Anderson when I first come to Georgia. I come down my first shot. My mama, a friend of hers, and my little brother, we all rode down to Atlanta, and I did the Atlanta City Auditorium. Abdullah beat me in 30 seconds, busted my head, and Tony Atlas come save me. And I got to the back, Abdullah said, I'll give it back to you, kid. I thought, yeah, right. A couple of years later, after I got hot, it was right at the point, we did a Thanksgiving show at the Omni. Wahoo got bowling. Wahoo always fussed, and Wahoo'd always quit. So he didn't show up. So Abdullah, he said, give me the kid. Otis said, Dusty's here. He said, give me the kid. Everybody called me the kid. And I ended up wrestling Abdullah, strict rules. You don't go to the floor, and if you do go to the floor, you don't go over the rail. Follow me, kid. Boom, boom, boom. We go to the floor. We're inside the rail. Boom, 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 boom. He told me, he said, I forgot all about that before I went out. He said, remember what I told you? He said, I told you I was going to give it back. He said, tonight you know.
Oh, mercy.
So anyway, that's been probably a year and a half before. Mm-hmm. And so that really impressed me. So we get in there, boom, boom. So I followed him out the first time. He said, okay, we come back in, boom, boom. He said, okay, stay with me, kid. This time we go about halfway up through that Omni. We did that 2 or 3 times. We get back in. I'm hitting him again. He said, slam me, kid.
Well, he was huge.
I was about 200 pounds soaking wet. He's probably 450. I said, yeah, he think he'd give it back to me. He think to pull that old plank on me.
But you did, Oda. He went right up with you, didn't he?
Well, yes, he said it about 3 times. I said, I can't slam you. He said, damn it, kid, slam me.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, I went down, I picked him up, and I'm talking about he felt like he weighed 190 pounds. I got it plumb up on my head, slammed in that whole building. I mean, they were hanging from the rafters anyway. That whole building.
I like that. You just said hanging from the rafters. I bet the whole roof come off the building too, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. And from then on, it was just off to the races. Yeah.
And Scotty, to see Abdullah at that time, I mean, buddy, you talking about a big, mean-looking monster?
Yes.
I could imagine Tommy's first night going down into Atlanta and just stepping in the ring with him. Oh my goodness, scared to death.
Yeah. I just had a brand new red and white velvet long robe.
Hey, might not have won, but look good. I'm telling you.
Yeah. He looked good. He looked good for as long as he was out here anyway.
You know, that's what the kids today don't understand either. They come into the business, they don't know what our business is really about. People used to ask me about, I said, dude, we saw you when you first started. when you come into NWA. No, that ain't when I first started. I got the hell beat out of me about 9 years every night before that happened. And guys don't even understand that. I mean, people like Gypsy Joe and my dad was in the business too, but it didn't matter. Our business was a sacred business. I remember I wrestled Gypsy Joe, and he'd give you a spot, and you mess it up, and he would beat the hell out of you. He would hit you across the back, okay? But the next night I worked with him, I didn't mess that spot up. And he'd give you more and more. Nowadays, my toes are wore out on my boots, but back then I used to wear the heels out because I never won a match. And these guys these days, tell me they argue about their music ain't right. You know, I mean, I sit there and that ain't my music, raising Cain and mess a spot up in the ring and be throwing and cussing and hollering and I'm going, you got to be kidding me. Gosh, man. Understand, I love my business. I love what it is.
If we'd done something like that back then, that'd kicked us out of the Johnson ring.
Oh, man, I seen Sonny King one time. They had a guy named Dallas Montgomery that wrestled, just started in the business. He come in the dressing room. Sonny King goes, what are you doing in the dressing room? He goes, well, I'm wrestling tonight. Sonny said, pick your bag up. Sonny grabbed him, took him out in the men's bathrooms. That's where you dress. You don't dress back here with us. Sure did. I see that happen several times, Tommy.
I got you talking about Sonny King. I got you a story about him and Roddy Piper. We were wrestling in Augusta, Georgia one night. Anyway, I got my little brother with me, Piper with me, and Piper's driving my new Cadillac. And we're leaving Augusta, Georgia. Well, you know, on that strip of Augusta, there's trees all down the middle of the interstate. We get going, we have a couple of beers. Anyway, my little brother Roddy, they get to art. Oh, I'll whip your ass. Anyway, Piper looks at me and he winks. I know what he's going to do. He pulls over and opens the door. My little brother jumps out. Piper takes it off. And it's cold. It ain't real cold, but it's cold that you need a jacket if you out on a foot very long. So anyway, we take off. Well, there ain't no exits to turn around, so we had to go way down the road, turn around. So finally, we come back. Piper gets on the other side. We headed toward the oncoming traffic looking for my brother. So we go down, we see Sonny King pass us. So we spin around. Sonny get up beside him to ask him to see my brother Piper hits him in the side with my new Cadillac. Yeah, that's that son of a gun. So anyway, we looked, never found my brother. I get home. Anyway, I took something because I had a headache. But anyway, I was really tired. My little brother got home. Didn't get home. We just went off and left him. I said, I hope somebody picks him up. I get home, and about the time I laid in the bed, Ted said, where's Steve at? I said, I don't know. He was about 14 or 15.
Oh, my goodness.
Ended up, he walked to a rest area, was freezing to death. And Terry had to go pick him up, and I couldn't find my money. She had to cash change. She's pregnant with my daughter, first daughter. Oh, man, it was a fiasco. Anyway, she went and picked him up at the rest area. And the week after, before I could even get it fixed, where Piper rented my cousin Johnny Crash Ridge, that's where he got that name, Crash Ridge. He totaled it out. He fell asleep and hit a big rock, totaled it out.
Did he really?
Oh, man.
But I didn't figure I needed that Cadillac. It was bad luck anyway.
Yeah, got to get rid of the bad luck where we can. I wanted to ask you about the territory that I grew up watching a whole lot. Really didn't miss an episode, Tommy Wildfire Rich, and that was Smoky Mountain Wrestling by the one and only Jim Cornette. And you were a part of Cornette's militia. How was it working in Smoky Mountain after you had been in Georgia and in the AWA and so many other places?
Well, I enjoyed everywhere I went, man. It's Cornette, he was, as long as you wasn't around Cornette, it's all right.
As long as you weren't around him.
Yeah. As long as, it's like at the show you had to deal with him, but I didn't go have lunch with him or nothing.
He's another one of them that when he started, Jarrett told him, man, if you can get as much heat with the crowd as you can the boys, he said, we're going to draw a lot of money. And I think everybody hated him then. He'd run around the ring taking pictures, always anyway. And every week you order pictures from him, the price went up. So, and look here, man, I got to work for Jimmy, and gosh, and being over the years of the feud with the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, and Jimmy putting us in the Hall of Fame. What can I say about him, man? Really, he was the backbone of the Rock and Roll Express, Jimmy Cornette and the Midnight Express.
And Tommy Rich, I wanted to see one more thing, and we'll let you go, and that was when you worked for ECW, and you were there with Tracy Smothers, who had been working and still does, I guess, some now, doesn't he, as a wild-eyed Southern boy. But how was that, and how did you get connected with Paul Heyman to have that run in ECW?
FBI, wasn't it?
Yeah, they found out about my heritage. They didn't know there was an American Italian people. They found out I made good pie and did a little bookie work, so they want to bring me in as the big Don.
Yeah, that was good. You know what, Tommy? You and I had some brutal matches up there. We did. In ECW. That's when I had my wife, Andrew. You know, me and Tommy both. We're from the old school, dude. We bleeding, man. Look like everybody calling 911. That's just the way it is, buddy.
Yeah, you know, and it was wide open at ECW. I mean, I loved it because I had little Guido and Tracy, so it was easy to get heat. Yeah, I had a blast with that. Just getting to be the manager, I had never done that. I had fun with that. So yeah, that was a good one. And I guess Tommy Dreamer had a lot to do with me coming up there too. But Paul, he didn't, you know, I talked to him every now and then when he first started. But anyway, yeah, they just give me the opportunity. That was a good place to go.
Now, as far as Tommy Dreamer goes, was he booking a lot of the matches at that point in ECW?
I think he was helping. I think it was like a media fair. He had 2 or 3 of them that did it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, cool, buddy. But you know what, Tommy, I just want to tell you something. We're brothers. I absolutely adore and I love you. We've been together for years and years, been in different territories, but I want to tell you.
Longer than most have with their wives.
I know, but
that's a fact.
My door's always open to you. If you ever need me, you know I'm just a phone call away. Thank you very much Thank you for being on my show.
You too, my brother.
Yeah, you too, Tommy. And thank you for being on my show today.
Hey, thank you. I hope you Scotty for having me, man. Hey, and thank all you fans out there. Y'all tune in to Ricky's show, man, because he's one of a kind.
All right. Thank you, Tommy.
Let me tell you about this little girl. Now, I know Ricky Morton is well aware, and that would be Ruby Kate, Lebanon, Virginia. Community night for Ruby Kate. She's having some health issues. They're raffling off some items, finding a lot of ways to help her. Your chance to meet Ricky Morton, absolutely free. Make a donation to help this family. Wendy's, Lebanon, Virginia, at 21 Highland Drive in Lebanon, Virginia. Thursday, November 30th from 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. Ricky Morton will be there. Visit Facebook for more details about her condition and what you can do to help Ruby Kate. Facebook at Ruby Kate's Fight. Again, that's Facebook at Ruby Kate's Fight. Great talking with Wildfire, Tommy Rich, with his school in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That was fun, Ricky Morton.
Yeah, man, Tommy's a wild one. He's a character, but he just had himself. He didn't have to be Tommy Wildfire Rich to be anything, man. That's really Tommy, and it's really cool. And I want to tell everybody, man, that when you listen, we got a special guest coming on next week too, Tugboat. I'll be looking forward to having him. If you guys got any questions for Tugboat, let us know, and we'll try to answer them for all of you, man. And
yes, and here's how you can do that. Facebook at Scotty on the radio, SCOTTY on the radio at Facebook. Twitter at Scotty is on, SCOTTYIS on. Now, of course, Twitter also at Real Ricky Morton, and Facebook at School of Morton and the Babyface Ricky Morton. And in case that's not enough, I'm looking really forward to talking to the one and only Fred Ottman, Tugboat, one half of the natural disasters in the World Wrestling Federation, with the one and only earthquake, typhoon.
Tell you, he was a good friend of mine too. And guys, I can't wait either. To everybody out there, thank you very much. We got a lot of shows coming up here at the School of Morton.
Yes, we do. School of Morton's going to be hitting the road too. Saturday, November 25th, Rogersville, Tennessee. Sunday, December 3rd, and Sunday, December 10th. Both of those days at 5 p.m. at the School of Morton in Chuckey, Tennessee. Admission, $5.
Yes, and I'll be back. I've been away for a while. I've been on the road, taking advantage of what I can. You know, I'm still in this business. I'm still full-time. Coming up the next month, I'll be back here at the School of Morton on all the shows. I'll be here training 3 times a week. My boys, get ready. Lace them up tight because Daddy's back at town.
Whoa.
Oh, right. To everybody out there, thank you very much. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk to you then.
Check out ProWrestlingTees.com. Search for Ricky Morton. You can see a variety of shirts there. Look us up on social media. We really love connecting with you. Also, check out the archives in case you've missed past episodes. We've talked with the Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan. We've talked with J.J. Dillon, manager of the Four Horsemen, about his time in the World Wrestling Federation, working directly for Vince McMahon, and how that experience went for him. And we've talked with others, too, including the legendary Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol, but we're looking very forward to next week when we have the opportunity to talk with the one and only Tugboat from WWF and many other stops along the way.
Like again, Scotty, from everybody here at the School of Morton, thank you for all your support. Can't wait to see you at our shows. Come on down. We're going to have a great time.
She said, Rama, Lama, Bama, Lama, rock and roll is king.